Fantastic Mr. Fox. You love it, I love it, so why don't you take a break from your wacky life and let's unpack this cussing Criterion Blu-ray together, shall we? The case for the set is a little different than most Criterion cases, and that's because it's not your typical Criterion case. Fox is actually a sleeve. The cover is pretty sleek, with the Fox family standing around a large dinner table as if it's the Last Supper. It's a cool portrait. Sliding the case out from the sleeve, we are welcomed with one disc and a small 30-page booklet. More on that in a second. The disc itself is pretty simplistic, just a simple picture of Mr. Fox's treehouse. The 30-page booklet consists of one essay and one article from the New York Times describing a first-hand account of the time Wes Anderson visited Ronald Dahl's estate. The rest of the pages are chock full of sketch art, character designs, early models, and much more. It's a neat little book that goes perfectly with the set. Now let's talk about the content that exists on the disc. Packed on the disc are many featurettes, including how the actors recorded their dialogue. Which, as a side note, if you didn't know, many of the actors recorded their dialogue outside of a sound booth, and instead recorded their lines in their homes or various locations. It's actually pretty funny to see George Clooney running around a grassy field acting as Mr. Fox. Moving on from there, we have some behind the scenes of the animation studio, we get a sizzle reel of early test footage, and we get some time-lapse footage of some of the shots from the film. There's also a bit with Ronald Dahl reading Fantastic Mr. Fox in its entirety, as well as an hour-long BBC documentary about Ronald Dahl. And lastly, you get trailers and commentary tracks. Overall, it wasn't too bad. Although, I would have loved some more behind the scenes of the studio. The bit we get is under 15 minutes, and I could have watched that stuff for hours. That about rounds out the special features on the disc, but before we get into the film itself, I'd like to beg and plead to please like and subscribe if you're loving these Criterion reviews. Now let's briefly talk about the film. The plot synopsis from IMDb reads, an urbane fox cannot resist returning to his farm-raiding ways and then must help his community survive the farmer's retaliation. Wes Anderson is one of those directors that just when I think I know my favorite movie of his filmography, I rewatch one of his movies and I think to myself, is this my favorite Wes Anderson movie? Before I sat down to rewatch Fox, I had it in my mind that The Grand Budapest Hotel was my favorite. But after rewatching Fantastic Mr. Fox, I had to question myself. Is Budapest my favorite? Because Fantastic Mr. Fox is damn near perfect. I feel like any time I pinpoint which is my favorite, I can rewatch one of his movies and have my mind totally changed. He's that good. But I have a soft spot for Fantastic Mr. Fox. It's a brief, brisk, funny, energetic, animated work of art. Like many of Anderson's films, every real estate of the frame is carefully crafted, and it transports you into its world from frame one. The stop-motion animation in this film is unreal, and the amount of imagination on screen is off the charts. It's a gorgeous film. The characters in this film are rich and relatable. The performances from the entire cast are perfect. It is a little distracting hearing Clooney's voice, but after like 10 or 15 minutes you forget about it because you're swept away into the character. My personal favorite is Fox's son Ash, played by Jason Schwartzman. That scene in his science class where he goes off on his science partner still gets me every time. Ash's character is both frustrating, yet delightful. What makes this movie work is actually how simple it is. Mr. Fox steals some product from 3 farmers, and in retaliation, those 3 farmers try to hunt Mr. Fox down alongside his family. And that's it. That's the plot. While simplistic on paper, it's magic in execution. This movie goes by so fast because you're having so much fun, although it does help that it's only 90 minutes long. The cherry on top is that Anderson managed to not only have an awesome soundtrack, but the score is also marvelous. I know people love the ooh la la needle drop at the end of Rushmore, but I gotta go in favor of Fox's ending needle drop of Let Her Dance. That song and that ending just makes me smile the biggest smile. The film is funny, fast, and beautiful. So to summarize, the film is a cussing masterclass of animated cinema. Okay, to wrap things up here. The Fantastic Mr. Fox Criterion set is pretty cool. Even though I wish some of the featurettes were a little longer, you still get a lot from them. Added to that, you get that excellent 30-page booklet and one of Wes Anderson's best films, if not his best. Or is it? Okay folks, that's it. Until the next review, I say cheers.